In this video, you're going to understand why artificial intelligence is the opportunity of the decade. Literally the most valuable skill to have in the coming years. We hear everyone talking about artificial intelligence, but no one really teaches you or tells you why. So let's see if we're making history right now. I'm going to show you a very quick timeline so you can see that this isn't just a passing trend. Artificial intelligence is here to stay. So first, the internet revolution. This was the greatest revolution. Obviously right now you wouldn't be watching this video on your phone or computer. Obviously you already know everything that the internet includes, and above all, websites. I want you to keep this in mind because even today, websites are still being made by hand. That is, with programs, and people are still buying them. In other words, it's a business model that has been around since 1990 and is still going strong. That is to say, it changed absolutely everything. Obviously servers as well, technical teams. Just imagine an extreme technical knowledge barrier, literally. And of course initial investment too, because to get started in this world, well, it wasn't really for us either. E-commerce and dropshipping. We've all talked about e-commerce or dropshipping. Obviously all of this started in the 2000s when there was already traditional inventory in local stores, and then it gradually began to be distributed throughout the neighborhood, then across the country, then internationally, and finally dropshipping, when you didn't even need to have inventory, obviously. This created thousands and thousands of millionaires, but as always you had to get in at just the right time, which was very hard to predict, and well, it was a passing trend, you could say, because right now most people in dropshipping make money by selling courses. Let's be realistic. And those who don't have the right real information on how to make money with dropshipping. So obviously I'm not saying that none of these business models are viable or that they can be done. On the contrary, I'm absolutely convinced that they work. In fact, I know they do, but there's really no comparison with what we're about to see now. Crypto revolution. Obviously those who invested in crypto, we already know back in 2015, 2014, there's nothing more to say about that. Trading, well, that's also a very valuable skill, and obviously those who master it can stay stable or even live very well off it. But this is actually very high risk and requires perfect timing. So it's really not for us either. Now what you've come for. We've looked at a very simple timeline where we've seen different business models or things that have changed the world. Literally, this is going to create more millionaires than all of that combined. I mean, I don't know if you get what we're talking about, but it's absolutely insane. And this is mainly because right now, just imagine it's crazy, but you can go to chatgpt, tell it to create an online course for you on digital marketing, crypto, whatever, and it'll do it. You can upload it to Hotmart and start making money. I'm not saying this actually works, but in theory, it's possible. And the barrier to entry is $0. I mean, the only thing you really need is internet access to get to ChatGPT. And now we're gonna go much more in depth with this. There are no barriers to entry. It's the only and the first business model that doesn't require super technical knowledge, where you don't have to study for months and months. No, honestly, you can learn this very quickly. We're talking right now about automating businesses or selling receptionist agents or call agents. So really, at this moment, companies are paying $3,000 and up, literally. All of this you can literally do from home with a computer, which is probably the biggest cost because the platforms also offer free trials. You can literally use the free trial until you get your first client. The market is global, you can do it from home, but you can sell, for example, if you're in Spain, you can do it in Peru, in Colombia, in India, in China, it doesn't matter. And as we said, you don't need to have a factory or inventory or anything like that. On top of that, it doesn't depend on some random factor, meaning it's not up to chance. Everything depends on you. If you start studying artificial intelligence right now, the only thing you need to sell this artificial intelligence service is to know more than the business owner themselves, and I assure you that's very, very easy. So honestly, right now everything is in your hands. Are you going to take action or are you just going to watch? Because when you really think you'll start, when you have more time, know more, or when the perfect moment comes, I assure you by then there will already be people who have had their perfect moment. And if there's one thing I've learned from this entrepreneurial journey, it's that the only thing you have to do is take action. I promise you, I assure you, it will truly change your life. You don't need anyone's permission, just get started with the valuable content you have on YouTube. Whether I assure you that with that alone, you could already start generating income. I'm not saying it's easy because it's not. Getting clients can be a bit overwhelming at first since, well, no one is born knowing how to sell, for example, that's the truth. But well, some of us have a hidden talent and others don't. Honestly, this really depends on how you feel when it comes to talking to strangers. And truly, this is your best moment since the demand is infinite. When I tell you this, take it literally, because every business, company or shop needs artificial intelligence, needs to automate, save time and also save money. But they don't know how to implement it. So if you just do consulting calls, with that alone you can really make money, and just by being an intermediary, you can already earn money. You don't need to know how to do all the automation yourself, etc. Just by finding a company that wants to automate, which I assure you is very easy, and finding a developer, you're already going to make money. Obviously, it won't be a lot. If you do it yourself and learn, I assure you that you'll keep, well, 100%. But if you need someone else, you probably won't keep as much. But hey, you could probably still make $1,000 without any problem. So really, this opportunity is one where right now there is an overwhelming demand and no competition. And if you really want to learn the technical side, which I honestly recommend since there's no comparison between these two business models, so to speak, one being the intermediary and the other doing it yourself, I assure you it's something profitable because, as I've said, it's not a random factor. Everything depends on you. If you study it, I assure you it's such a valuable skill that you'll be rewarded for it and you'll do well. So really, best of luck, and I'll see you in the next videos.